see his joy in receiving whatever that, the letter was that he had passed a step and was moving on to his next step to becoming a police officer. That was just awesome. He's a 23-year-old young man.
Pessimism, what?
Yeah, you're a softie. You're a softie. What a bastard covered bastard with cream filling? Is that the way it went from Scrubs?
It doesn't.
No, it's bastard covered bastard with bastard filling. Is that what it is? Oh heck, I don't remember. Y'all remember Scrubs?
I was a House fan. I didn't have time for Scrubs.
By the way, I just need to point this out from the chat because it's too excellent to ignore. Back to the looter. She could have been thinking about the effect that fire could have on the global climate, so she put out the fire. Global warming awareness saved the store.
Hey, whatever works.
Rob in the chat.
No, that's big. I mean, so she not only saved a store, but our planet. We are all alive because of her. I'm forming a religion around her.
But did the seas recede? The sea levels recede.
Hey, firefighter lady with the stolen milk, thanks for saving the planet.
Oh, boy.
Well, we haven't had massive floods in Colorado this year, so, hey, that's something.
At least not since the looting.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty dry ever since then.
That's not a coincidence, I don't think.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay, one of the other good stories about Ferguson, we're going to stop talking about the milk lady here in a moment. One of the other good stories about Ferguson was that there were some black residents standing there. There's a picture of black Ferguson residents with their arms crossed, and they're large and they're imposing, and they're standing in front of a business protecting the white-owned business that had employed them, and they were protecting it from looters. And it's those kinds of things that happened in Ferguson, and we need to spread those stories more than spreading the stories of the bad stuff that happens, because in the midst of a massive crowd doing bad things and where it's easy to just fall in with the crowd and do bad things, there were those who stood outside and protected a guy who had provided them jobs and saved his business. There was the guy who was standing out front of a I don't even remember the name of the store, but we saw after hours he was standing out front of a store and preventing 2 or 3 other people at great risk to himself, preventing others from looting that one store. And he had no connection to the store. I think it was a Papa John's, protecting Papa John's. Remember that one? There were just enough good stories that we need to really focus more on and elevate those stories.
To be fair, there are a few things worth fighting for more than Papa John's.
True.
So
good pizza.
Oh my!
It is no such thing. It is not even close to good pizza. Now I'm sorry, because now we won't be getting the Papa John's sponsorship for the refinery anytime soon. Sorry about that.
The Italian tanks us. The Italian tanks us completely.
New York.
Okay, I want you to prepare some clips here. Papa John's is really good pizza. I enjoy Papa John's pizza. Pizza Hut is really good pizza. I enjoy Pizza Hut pizza. Please feel free to clip these and send them to future sponsors of your choice.
You're going to have the Italian do the editing on that?
I'm pretty sure that you just committed a hate crime against me.
Microaggression.
Yeah, probably.
My triggers, you've triggered me. I need some time to get a hold of myself.
JD's going to take to his fainting couch now. I pushed him over his limit. Yeah.
Precisely.
Okay, so Little Caesars.
Digging a hole, Leslie. You want to pass that shovel over to me so you can climb out?
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop digging. I don't even eat pizza. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
No, all this reminds me, too, of Ryan's community, Human Excellence, on Google Plus, too, because some of the the things that he's been trying to achieve with that community of talking about the cultural places that people come together. This is the sort of stuff that fits right in there. And you could talk about national issues from the framing of how people have behaved in this kind of, disparate situation and the difficult circumstances they find themselves in. Part of the beauty of being human is the ability to rise above, your instincts or your anger or your frustration. And this is the sort of thing you're seeing coming out of Ferguson. A lot of great stories about that, where it really does elevate us back to that moral elevation. It does elevate us, and that's why finding communities like Ryan's, and we're hoping everybody that's been watching will go check that out on Google+, because we all do need that. We do tend to sometimes focus on the outrage of the day, or the political thing that just makes us all crazy, and we all have to make sure that everybody we know knows all the bad things that have happened. But it's so nice to be able to take a moment and focus on some good things, and looking at people doing something good and feeling elevated ourselves and spreading that around. That is so important, as Leslie was saying, to explaining and living a life that is conservative.
Well, largely, we're trying to grow the conservative movement, meaning we want people to join us. We want people to want to hang out with us. We want to be liked. We want to be more popular, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You don't grow a movement by being unpopular. And people want to hang out with happy, uplifting, positive people. You're more fun to be around. And the nice thing is, it really is a conservative value to find the good in people and to elevate that. And people want to be around that. They'll just gravitate towards the happy, positive people in your life. And because they make you feel happy and positive as well. And so for conservatives, and it's easier now because we are winning politically. So it's easier for us to be positive and happy. But we need to consciously do that and realize that what we're doing is growing a movement by being the kind of people everybody wants to be around, being the cool kids, not the cool snarky above it all kids, but being the good people. Come hang out with us, come be with us, because we're happy and positive and fun and nice and caring.
It reminds me of some of my rules for life. One of them is just don't be an ass.
Yeah.
How hard is that? And so often on the internet, it's so impersonal. It's so easy to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm not saying that I don't violate that rule a bunch of times. I really do. But I'm working on it and I'm conscious of it. And that's the thing. I can tell from where I started on Facebook back in 2008 to now, I have a different tone online. I do. Because I think of those things now that I didn't before.
We do all need to vent, and we have vent to your private communities. But have your public face, if you're going to be a politically conservative public representative of the movement, trying to grow the movement and having this purpose, try to be a positive representative of that so that people will say, oh, this is what a conservative is like. And so be publicly a bit more positive. Not blind to the problems, the errors, and the dangers around. I mean, we're not naive or stupid. We're just positive and constructive about it.
So does it make me look shallow, mean, and evil when I look at...
Yes.
Whatever it is, yes.
Okay, good.
Love you, Andy.
I was interested in what you were looking at.
Oh, I was too, but we were just answering.
No, when I'm looking at all these protests and see, guys, I always think strategically. It's all I wake up thinking strategy. I go to bed thinking strategy. It's all I ever think is strategic. And
Cori.
Yeah, I know it's awful for her, but she just every time I wake up, she looks at me calmly and says, "I've already won." So that I don't have to worry about that. No, when I look at the protests, and when I look at the Rams holding their hands up, and I look at all this kind of stuff, and my article that's going to be coming out in a day or two, it discusses this. I delight in the fact that they are driving people to our side. And they are. You see, I'm from Wisconsin, and I think about the Scott Walker recall campaign, and it was going poorly until the teachers' unions went out and protested. And all the parents across Wisconsin saw these people, these mobs, screaming, shouting like animals, just rampaging and fury and rage and all this. And they were just like, oh my gosh, we knew they were a union, but we never thought they were one of those kind of. I mean, this is what's been educating our kids. And really, they were shocked. And when that visual went out, Walker shot back up in the polls and won and hasn't lost since. What's going on in St. Louis and Ferguson, people are thinking these are black people run amok. No, it isn't. It's liberals run amok. First of all, a number of them are not black, and secondly, there are no conservatives there. There are no black conservatives as part of these protests. This is all liberals run amok doing bad things. Lots of really bad things, and insulting an entire city by holding their hands up, when they're about to play a football game, and infuriating the cops. This is the kind of thing people are going to, let me tell you, people won't talk about it, they won't mention it in a poll, but it angers them, and it makes them even more wanting to vote against that side. It really does.
Here's what I need to make a distinction about, and I know that you would agree with me when I make this distinction. I don't like that politics is divisive and nasty and that people are mean and ugly to each other. I don't like it. I understand that that's the ground that there is, and I would prefer it if people didn't behave in ways like you were detailing that the Wisconsin union, teachers unions were behaving. But I can look at the fact that they are and figure ways to take advantage of that while still wishing it had never happened. And I'm pretty sure I'm correct in saying, yeah, you're not, and I don't know that anybody would even make this connection, but I had to say it. You're not saying, oh, I'm hoping that liberals act like liberals in this way over and over again so that they drive people to us. It's more an acceptance of the reality and taking advantage of that, even while feeling, isn't it awful that this is how they are?
Oh, absolutely. No, everything you just said is exactly dead on. I don't look forward to them doing that. But if they're going to do that, if they're going to expose how ruthless they are, if they're going to expose how horrible they can be and how little they care about right and wrong. Forget the protests. Look at the fact that they don't care about any of the facts of the case. Okay, these people, this entire side doesn't care about any of the facts of the case whatsoever. It means absolutely nothing to them, and they want to design your health care for you. Okay, they don't care about any of the facts of the case. They don't care about any of what happened to this. They don't care about this police officer having to quit a job after being innocent and doing the right thing, and they run the EPA, and they run the NEA, and look,
you don't trust them on these things. Why would you trust them on this other thing? And that brings us back to, was it Kurt that said, why should we trust anything liberals say about anything?
Well, yeah, they're one big Gruber. What they're doing is you're seeing an entire movement expose itself publicly, just like he did privately, and show this is what we think of you. We didn't get our way. Who can, would the Attorney General be prompting a further investigation if he had gotten the outcome that he desired? Of course not.
Would the president be meeting with somebody like Al Sharpton as a representative of the whatever the black community? I guess Al Sharpton is now the spokesperson, the spokesmodel for blacks or something. I mean, I don't know that they elected him, but he elected himself. And I mean, this is a guy who, does anybody remember Tawana Bradley? And Sharpton never apologized for destroying that the non-rapist's career. And also, oh, by the way, Al Sharpton is an employee of a